Kazakhstan has increased its exports to Azerbaijan. According to official data, the value reached $134 million in the first 9 months of this year, which is 65.5% higher compared to the same period last year. Due to the high results, Kazakhstan entered the list of Azerbaijan's top 10 exporting countries. The trade turnover between Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan has increased significantly. Over the past period, the import of Kazakh grains has doubled, while the import of railway equipment has increased by 5 times. Kazakhstan also increased the exports of bitumen by 3 times. Meanwhile, Azerbaijan also increased the exports of electrical cables to Kazakhstan by 8 times. Kazakhstan imported pipe products from Azerbaijan by almost 3 times compared to last year. Kazakhstan also increased the volume of rice exports by 3 times from 2,000 tons last year to 7,000 tons in 2018, which is the record value of the rice export volumes between the countries. According to experts, improvement of the transport and logistics capacities had a positive impact on the economic relations. Transport hubs are very important in our economic relations. Both countries contributed a lot to the development of transport hubs over the past few years, which is producing positive results. A well-established corridor provides the opportunity for the movement of capital. Moreover, the East-West corridor will allow increasing the trade turnover several times. We can expect the same growth next year, given that both countries are seriously committed to expand the economic relations. According to experts, trade turnover between Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan will exceed $200 million this year. Observers believe that the implemented projects and stronger ties in the private sector are yielding positive results. The next plans include transportation of larger volumes of Kazakh oil and the increased freight traffic from China to Europe through the Caspian Sea and the territory of Azerbaijan. Transit and transport opportunities are expanding in Kazakhstan. The Altyn-Kol railway station located on the Kazakh-Chinese border is getting a powerful impetus for development. From the station, trains head to all directions, specifically both to Asia and Europe. Soon there will be up to 20 train services per day. The trains will be able to cross the station quickly and without delay. A modern system that meets international standards will instantly receive information and transmit it. It takes 3 hours and 55 minutes for one train. One composition may have more than 50 containers. These containers are loaded in 90 minutes. Each terminal in the Altyn-Kol takes between 60 and 90 minutes. 400 containers pass through the Altyn-Kol station a day. 3,500 tons of cargo are delivered to foreign markets. Through the Silk Road, they reach Central Asia and Russia, and via the Caspian Sea, they reach Europe. The key node in this route is Kazakhstan, and the route is currently being developed by China. From here, the cargo is distributed to large markets. 40-ton cranes on all 6 railway lines are able to simultaneously unload and load wagons. The dry port is the largest transshipment terminal in Central Asia, which is located on a 130-hectare special economic zone. Therefore, Chinese companies which are engaged in freight transportation work closely with the Altyn-Kol station. The quality of services here meets international standards. Over 100 forwarding companies worked at the Altyn-Kol station. They choose the most profitable way to transport goods from Asia to Europe. In the future, the dry port intends to triple the volume of its work and increase freight traffic to 2 million containers per year. New investments are attracted to Central Asia. An international conference titled The New Silk Road was held in London, where politicians and experts from Kazakhstan, the United Kingdom, China, and Uzbekistan discussed the economic and political prospects of the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative.
And the reason for this conference today, the New Silk Road, is to talk about the political and economic implications of China's new Silk Road plan on Central Asian countries, how it will impact the people of Central Asia, and how we can use this as an opportunity to increase bilateral trade relations between the UK and Central Asia.
The idea of the Great Silk Road's economic revival was first announced by Chinese leader Xi Jinping in Nazarbayev University in Astana. The program is aimed at boosting economic development of more than 100 participating countries, as well as strengthening cultural ties and promote peace and sustainable development.
China, which is one of the biggest import markets for many countries of the world. So my message is that the Belt and Road Initiative is a good omen to the Central Asian republics, is a good omen to Europe, especially here in Britain.
China invested more than $60 billion in the large-scale project in 5 years. Kazakhstan is also actively cooperating in the program. According to official statistics, the trade turnover between China and Kazakhstan reached $18 billion over the past year.
Kazakhstan is clearly a major player in Central Asia, a very fast-moving economy. Originally, I think the country was famous for oil and gas and the mining industries in particular, but now we see in the last few years that it actually is taking a leading position.
The conference organizer, the Institute of Central Asian Studies, plans to continue generating ideas aimed at strengthening ties between the UK and Central Asia. Kazakhstan is set to expand the range of exported hydrocarbon products. Deputy Chair of the Kazakh International Center for Green Technologies and Investment Projects, Arman Kashkinbekov, shared the information at the 3rd Eurasian Conference in Baku, dedicated to the energy sector development in the Caspian and Central Asian regions. The countries are actively negotiating the possibility of transporting oil and gas products through the Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan pipeline and the Baku-Erzurum gas pipeline. Kazakhstan is one of the world's leading oil and gas producers. The Kazakh oil fields produce more than 80 million tons of oil per year and up to 100 billion cubic meters of natural gas. In addition, experts discussed the alternative energy sector development at the conference in Baku. There's a major document in Kazakhstan, the concept of transition to a green economy, which was approved by President Nazarbayev 5 years ago. The document outlines clear targets aimed to increase the share of the alternative energy in Kazakhstan by 3% in 2020, by 10% in 2030, and by 50% in 2050. The Kazakh Ministry of Energy is starting to develop a detailed plan aimed at the development of alternative energy in Kazakhstan. We hope that these measures will allow creating a more attractive investment environment and will help attract new investments. Kazakh enterprises will receive capital reimbursements for the introduction of green technologies. According to the Association of Kazakhstan's Environmental Organizations, the approach will encourage companies to reduce negative impact on the environment. The companies will receive compensation for installation of wastewater treatment plants, filters, control devices for environmental emissions, and other technologies. This provision may be included in the new environmental code. Experts took into account the international standards of the OECD member countries. According to experts, the new development will bring Kazakhstan closer to the top 30 most competitive countries in the world.
Их важно поощрять и стимулировать. Поэтому в этом кодексе предусматривается о том, что
It is important to provide incentives for the companies. Therefore, this code is designed for the targeted use of these resources. We receive payments from 4 sources, including 2 on the governmental and 2 on the local levels. According to the statistics, just 0.03 to 40% of the environmental payments are allocated for environmental measures. Therefore, we need to determine the target purpose in the new code. The president said that we need to systemize and develop more effective measures aimed at the development of green technologies.
более такие меры, которые все-таки вектор будут соблюдать вот зеленых технологий.
The new environmental code will enter into force by 2020. Kazakhstan is set to improve its environment. In the State of the Nation address, President Nazarbayev spoke about the importance of environmental improvement, particularly in terms of harmful emissions, conditions of the soil, land, air, and waste management. The president instructed the government to develop environmental monitoring systems with a free online access. Experts believe that the annual address will give a new impetus to the environmental protection in Kazakhstan.
Импульс, да, тому, чтобы мы внутри страны пересмотрели или переработали вот те направления, которые...
We need to review or rework the areas that need to be improved in Kazakhstan by a certain period of time. In the State of the Nation address, the president highlighted that we need to revise the environmental law by bringing it in compliance with these norms. We also need to improve air emissions. Moreover, we need to introduce the best available technologies. There is the International Center for Green Technologies established in Kazakhstan to implement the concept of transitioning to the green economy, which will introduce these technologies.
Это зеленых технологий создан, который, в принципе, реализует концепцию перехода к зеленой экономике.
Experts believe that innovations and the environmental development highlighted by the president in the address will contribute to Kazakhstan's modernization. President of Kazakhstan Nursultan Nazarbayev in his State of the Nation address stated that there is a necessity to fully realize the potential of the country's agro-industrial complex. He called for the increase in productivity and export of processed products by 2.5 times by 2022. Innovative technologies are being used and introduced in the country as the agricultural industry is being developed and the material and technical base is being strengthened. The equipment worth 300 million tenge will be purchased for the livestock laboratory at the Research Institute in Kostanay region. Employees say that with the development of new technologies, qualitative and quantitative indicators will change.
Время измерений уменьшится, если это...
The time of measurement will decrease. We measure 10 samples in 10 to 13 minutes, whereas with an advanced apparatus, we can measure 20 to 30 samples in 10 to 15 minutes. An analysis on the quality of milk based on 9 indicators is being conducted in the laboratory. Every day, 500 samples are examined here, and in the future, the number of samples might increase. In addition, experts say that the use of innovations will allow a more accurate agrochemical analysis. In addition, soon it will also be possible to explore the breed cattle at the gene level.
Как раз это и есть то, о чем говорят, что это цифровизация. Это четкое понимание того, что ты имеешь.
This is what they are talking about. This is digital transformation. This is a clear understanding of what you have, objective and quantitative estimates. We want to help cattle owners so that they can be more competitive in the market. The Republican Center of Knowledge Transfer has been created on the basis of the farm. Agronomists and farmers from all over the country come here to gain experience and learn advanced technologies. The Trails of Nomad research expedition has continued its journey to Ukraine. The researchers have visited historical sites of the Kharkiv region. A group of scientists have visited the fortress called the Serpent's Wall. The facility stretching from the west to east is an ancient monument of modern Ukraine. This is the western counterpart of the Great Wall of China. In the 12th and 13th centuries, there was a border between western Dyezh и Kipchak and Kievan Rus.
Здесь была граница.
There was a border. The country bordered with sedentary state, Turkic Khaganate, which means a lot of Ukrainian history. I call it conditionally the Turkic Khaganate because it is the Pecheneg state, the Kipchak state. We unite all of this with the big beautiful name Dyezh и Kipchak.
Это все мы объединяем большим красивым названием Dyezh и Kipchak.
At that time, relations between the Kipchaks and Rus were complicated. In order to improve relations, the Russian princess and the Kipchak Khans formed marriage alliances. New cities were built at the junction of the two civilizations. One of the brightest archaeological monuments of that time is the Donetsk settlement. According to the chronicles, the capital of the Kipchaks was not far from the settlement.
Ну, как упоминается в древнерусской летописи слово «полк Игорем»,
As mentioned in the Old Russian Chronicle, the tale of Igor's campaign, the Polovtsian Kipchak cities were built by the Polovtsian Kipchaks such as Shahrukh, Sugrov and Balin. It is impossible to say exactly where the cities are today because archaeological research unfortunately was not conducted.
Потому что археологические исследования, к сожалению, не проводились.
Another location that is famous for its ancient and rich history is the city of Izium. It is located 120 kilometers away from Kharkov. Historians say that there was a Kipchak fortress.
Kharkiv қаласынан 120 шақырым жердегі
The Izium city, which is located 120 kilometers away from Kharkov, is very valuable to us since our ancestors had lived there for almost 200 years. 3 cities were built not far from Kharkov.
Kharkivтің жанында 3 қала салынды.
Researchers visited the Zaporozhye region. They have passed thousands of kilometers. Participants of the Trails of Nomads research expedition highlight that there are still many discoveries waiting for them. The Koktu Society, established in Ankara, sets a goal of promoting the Kazakh culture, traditions and customs among Kazakhs living in Turkey, as well as improving relations with representatives of other nations. Creators of the center intended together under one roof. Both the Kazakh diaspora and the Kazakh youth were studying in Turkish schools and universities.
Болашақта жоспарларымыз енді қоғамымыздың аты Көкту Қазақ мәдениеті қоғамы болғаннан кейін.
Our society is called Koktu. We plan to introduce the Kazakh culture. Our traditions and customs are very similar to each other. In addition, we will work together to strengthen relations.
Жасауды мақсатымыз сол екі елдің арасындағы қарым-қатынасты күшейту.
Representatives of the Cultural Society highlighted that this association was simply necessary for the Kazakh diaspora in Turkey. There was no such alliance among Kazakhs relocated to Turkey. Chief Counselor to the President of Turkey, Yalcin Topçu, believes that such cultural societies help develop cooperation between the fraternal society. We must increase the number of NGOs in the Turkic world since such communities are an indicator of democratic development in the country. As part of the event, the Kazakh-Turkish Relations in Sources of Ottoman Archives exhibition was organized. The Kazakh Fashion House also demonstrated its national clothing. Kazakh quiz were performed in South Korean capital. Seoul hosted an international Asian cultural festival. Participants also performed Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, Indonesian, Mongolian and Philippine music. At the festival, Kazakhstan was represented by students studying in the Korean universities and members of the Kazakh society Tomiris. The Kazakh citizens played dombra and demonstrated traditional dances. Currently, we live in a different country and we want to demonstrate our culture. Although we are far from our homeland at the moment, we follow our national traditions. Honored artist of Kazakhstan and performer of Kazakh traditional and folk songs, Yerlan Rizkali presented a solo album in London. The collection includes famous songs by Segiz Siri, Birjan Sal, Akan Siri, Jayau Musa, and the Great Abai, as well as previously unreleased Terme and Tolgau by Shal Akin and Dulat Babatauli. The Kazakh music heritage should go beyond Kazakhstan. Our music should be known all over the world. Therefore, I decided to release an album in England. The album titled Man Manje consists of 2 parts, which include 38 songs. Both spectators and music critics were delighted with Yerlan Rizkali's performing skills. According to experts, the singer's performing style is close to the Italian bel canto, which is characterized by a smooth transition from sound to sound and is not easy for most singers.
This was bel canto, which is a very ancient form of singing.
And I was amazed to find it's so alive in Kazakhstan. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing, because bel canto is so difficult to sing.
Вы слышите и стук копыт лошадей.
You can hear the sound of horses running at full speed across the endless spaces of the Kazakh steppe. You can hear the sea splashing, and you can hear the wind in the trees. You can also smell the blooming of spring flowers thanks to his unique voice.
Осенних цветов. И все это благодаря его уникальному голосу.
It is not easy to impress the sophisticated audience in Europe. However, Europeans are always excited about cultural diversity. Spectators admitted that they would be happy to attend a Kazakh traditional music concert.